This meeting is being recorded.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't know why I had that echo, but did you hear that?
I did, yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. Let's begin with loading a design, and you'll see that we're in the embroidery edit the screen. So, okay. So what you can see here is my cloud is pretty busy. I have a lot of designs in there, and you can see there are my 3 gnomes that I added, and those were free. And I'll show you how to do that once we get to that point. So I'm going to close my cloud. And then this little, I know that to be a USB. So when you tap on that,
I don't have that.
because you need to put a USB stick in your machine.
Oh, okay. Do you want me
Okay.
to-
So
you
as you
want me
can
to do
see down here, I have my USB stick in one of the USB ports.
Oh, okay.
And that stick is pretty full too. And you can, we use a 1 gig stick for transferring. And because you have the cloud, you don't need to put all your designs on just 1 stick. Mainly what I do is I'll put the designs that I'm working on the stick. So the other day I taught a Kimberbell class, and I'm seeing if I can find it here. Let's try this one. No, it's not showing up. I don't know what it is. It should be opening, but anyhow, here's all of my designs. Like here's the one I finished at Christmas, and here are the, it reads, let me go back and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. It reads, this one says directions, embroidery files, and SVG files. Yeah, I know you can't see that, but it will read all of those, but it won't open it up. See, it won't open up a PDF file. It won't open up an SVG file, even though it's there. But it will open up embroidery files. Now, there are all kinds of formats here. Let me see if I can put up my board. I don't know if this is going to work. I think that's going to work. Can you see that better or not?
I can't. Yeah,
Well,
a little bit.
A little bit. So these are all the different formats.
Yeah.
So there's an EXP, HUS, PES. PES, what I'm pointing out right now is Baby Lock. And then ours is VP3. So whenever you order or get a free download, select the VP3 because that's the best one for the machine. PES is the Baby Lock, and it will open it up as, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it will open up your design.
Yeah, I can see that.
You can see that?
Yeah.
But sometimes it has errors in it, and one of the errors is that it has a long jump stitch. And if you're not familiar with that, that kind of messes you up. Now, this is a VP3. I'm going to open up the one with the placemat, and you can see that it does look very different. This one is vertical instead of horizontal, and this is a format that you would load onto the machine. Does that help?
Yeah, you're saying VP3?
That's right. P is in Paul. Okay, doke. Now, so that's going down this way. And yes, you can move this around if you want to. This machine, you can actually take this and put it to the left and kind of hide it while you're working so you can see your screen, but you can also see the entire screen with this 4 arrow icon right here on the bottom. If you tap that, it shows everything on the machine that you can see without anything in the way except for this one. You can't get rid of this one. Can't bury that one. That has to stay on it. All right. So now let's go across the bottom. We have the edit screen, which is what we want to do. We can do a couple of different things, and I'll do that next. We can also change the hoop. So I could actually change the hoop to another hoop that I have in my supplies, and I'll go over that. You can change the color of the background. And if I wanted to change the color so it would be easier for you to see the screen, I can just tap that. Or I can tap anywhere here on the color wheel and then close it. And now you see it changed it back to gray. Okay. Now, you also can put a grid on it. And I set the grid up for 1 inch. Metric 25.40 is 1 inch. And I can turn it on and off. I turn it off when I'm trying to do a lesson so it doesn't get in your way unless the lesson is using the grid, such as the fonts. But to turn it on, I just tap on. It turns it green. And you see now you can see behind the design that there's lines, etc. So let me go back and turn that off. And somehow look at that, I messed around with the colors and everything when I was playing around and changed it. This background color here, you can change in the gears screen under machine settings, and there's all your different background images. And I can change the background image to a gray. And so now it's got a dark gray around it. I know it doesn't show up very well, but it's a dark gray, and then this hoop is a light gray. Okay, next, stitch edit. These are the stitches. And sometimes there's a way to alter the stitches, not in this design though, because it's blank.
Okay.
The only way to alter these is to send them to your computer. So let me go back to edit. So there's lots going on here. Let me highlight it. And what I can do is, let's start over here. I can zoom in and get closer if I want to. I can zoom out, go far out, see? This is great. If I change something and I want to go back, this is the undo button. So I can actually go back and undo it. And you can see it moved it back into the center. And I can then go forward. I love that feature. There are very few machines that I'm aware of that have that feature.
Yeah.
This is the main dial that I use the most. 00 is smack dab in the center. If I go up and move it around, you can see the points moving around. And it is, the screen is the size of the hoop that you've selected. Okay. So if it goes out of the screen, it means it's out of the hoop. When it goes out of the hoop, it shows a red outline all the way around, and then a little symbol with a butterfly, and the arrow to the left means put design back inside the hoop, and you tap it and it goes back in the hoop. It is at the very top, but it nonetheless goes back into the hoop. That's a very nice feature. I use that a lot. Now, this is your rotate key. If this is highlighted, then the dial changes in the center. So this is the move dial. So I can move this around using that dial to the right. We would fine tune it to the left, going up and going down. This is a rotating dial. And with a rotating dial, you can rotate it by 90 degrees quickly. Or you can rotate it by degree. And that's less than, 360. And then to the right is by degree increments. And here's one thing I found out early. If I change it by degree, and then I go to try and rotate it, it rotates it 90 degrees from what it was originally set at. Now, the other thing too is I can tap this 293 degrees. And I can actually tap 0 degrees, hit OK, and it puts it back straight up. So you can change the degrees in large increments, in tiny increments, or if you want to punch in a particular number. The numbers are good for writing lessons if you want the design to go a certain way. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, I gotta get a sip of water. All right. So, the next thing is rescale. If I tap question mark and that icon, it says scale. Touching the scale in your embroidery area, you can use arrows in the control wheel or touch one of them, the scale handles in the corner of the design. Now, what in the world does that mean? These little handles right here, you can actually, let me get it. Here, let's see if I can drag it. And I can pinch it. Come on. Oh, I got to change it. That's the important thing. I can actually squeeze it. Come on. All right, let's see. There we go. It has to turn that little corner button there green so that you can squeeze it or enlarge it. However, I seldom do that. I use the dial down here. And one of the things is if you lock it, it will change the shape proportionally. If you make it longer, see, it will change the width as well to complement it. If I, then if I, let's see if I, there it is locked. There. Okay, and it only goes to 20% above the original configuration. Now, if I unlock it and make it smaller to fit in the hoop, it kind of makes it short and squatty. Or if I want to, I can just keep going back till I get what I want. See how far? There. Now that's the original position.
Hey.
And now, there's where we started. Let me know if you have to stop for a minute, okay?
I might walk them downstairs. I
Okay.
think, well, I have a full glass window and I think that like there's workers out there or something. Shh, lay down.
Oh,
Everybody lay down.
okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing is when you make this larger and distort it, it'll pop up a little 100 box here. And what that means is if you tap it, it'll go back to the original size.
Okay. How did you get that lock thing on there? Like
The lock thing comes on with this scale symbol. See the green scale symbol?
yeah, I see it now.
That, you just tap it and it will lock and unlock it.
Okay, I see it now.
There, now it's locked. If you have a Cricut machine, do you have a Cricut?
No.
No, okay. The software on digital cutters is very similar.
Okay.
So if you decide to get a Cricut machine at some point, other than knowing where all the buttons are, you'll feel comfortable because some of the symbols are the same.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now, across the top here, this one is copy and paste or duplicate. So if I went to the question mark up here and tapped it, it says it's duplicate. But to me, it looks like in Microsoft Word, copy and paste.
Okay.
Now, what happens when you do it is it takes it and puts it off to the side. So now I know there's two designs. My first Foth machine, it put it right on top of it. And I stitched over this one design a couple of times I put them on my denim jeans to the point that the machine wouldn't go through the fabric because it was so dense. I learned that early on. Then I can actually long hold it and a number pad pops up and I can duplicate it 2 more times or 10 times or whatever. And now I got a real mess. So then what do? Undo is our friend. I go back, undo, 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 until, all right, come on, guys. There we go. Now I need to trash some of these. So if I trash can it, and I tap it once, it taps it and deletes whatever I've highlighted. It didn't delete anything over here, only the ones that I've highlighted. If I long hold, a pop-up shows that says delete all designs. And I hit OK. Now it wipes all of them out. So again, when I'm designing, I use that feature. And it might be that I want to duplicate in, a heart multiple times, which is what I did. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here, let me bring this over to my wall hanging. It's supposed to be like a little flag, an outdoor flag. So this heart is in your machine. So what I did is I duplicated it several times, and this one I put inside another heart. And what I did then is I changed the colors, I resized them, I just did different things to each one of them, and then just started putting them on the screen. Now this one, this whole design, I saved as I went along. Because if I made a mistake and I hit delete accidentally, it would wipe everything out. But if I hit delete all. It would wipe everything out. And I wasn't taking any chances. Let me put it that way. All right.
So you designed that whole thing on one like screen and hoop and then just put the
Yes,
hoop
I
on
did.
it. Did
Right.
everything.
Yep. So what I did is when I went into hoop options, I picked my largest hoop, which is the 360 by 260. See, and now I have all that area to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I brought in a design. Let's say, what one did I use? It might have been this one. Who knows? But I'll go over and show you how you type in. It's just like the keyboard on your phone. No different.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can go back to, I got to get out of here. This is what happens. Everybody wants to, what do I do? What do I do? Hit OK. When you hit OK, it'll go back to what screen you had on. I'm going to change back my hoop to 150 and then add my design back in place. So I haven't lost anything yet. Now see, that does not fit in that hoop. So I'm going to have to get a bigger hoop. And the 260 by 200 is the other one that came with your machine. And there it is. So let me see if I can find, I'd like to stitch this out today because it's not going to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What we can do is play around with it too. So then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I put this one over here to the left, and now I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to bring it over here. Do you see how I'm making a new design?
Yeah.
And then I can change it left to right. That's what these symbols here are. Mirror image left to right, and mirror image top to bottom. So if I go take top to bottom off and right to left, I now can go over here to this screen and I can see how they cross over here. They meet right there and there they don't. And then they just, that's not what I meant. They overlap here. They meet here, but a little bit more than maybe you want. And here they just are kissing.
Yeah.
That means that these swirls are different sizes or at a different angle. So I could change it like this and just slide them over. And it's not as obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another feature. Just playing around. I love to do that. That's what I really love to do. And then I'm going to trash can that. So now I have this design. I'm going to put it back in the middle. And these symbols over here are pretty cool. This one, I can literally send this with this arrow to my machine. And my machine is named Queen. And my laptop is Sweet A-Line. So since it's already on my machine, I can send it to my laptop. Now it's sent it to the laptop and went it right back into my software. So let me show you that. All right. That is because this machine is Wi-Fi capable.
Mm-hmm.
And let me share that screen with you. Let's go to Zoom. And there you go. So this is what would happen. Cindy worked with you to get you all set up with your MySonet. And right?
It's syrup. Yeah, I haven't like done anything in it. We did try, me and my husband tried to take a PDF and try to put it in there. He finally got it in there, but the stitching looked all messed up.
Yeah, that's a stretch. Little baby steps. What were you trying to do?
Well, because I work in dentistry, so
Yeah.
potentially I could take over the embroidery of our scrubs. We actually have 7 offices, so we're a pretty big company.
Oh, okay.
And so I have their logo. They gave me their logo. And so it's in PDF form though, and we're like trying to figure out how to put it in here and make it so that I can actually get it on my machine and embroider the scrubs.
Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to see if you can get an SVG.
So I don't know if they have their hands on that because
They probably hire out, right?
yeah, so we go to a scrub store that just keeps our scrubs and they embroider it.
Mm-hmm. Well, how detailed is the logo?
I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's literally a red flag and it says Trident Dental. Like it's not anything crazy.
Oh, that's not so hard at all. So just on an aside, if you go into, let's go here. And if you go into home and go to digitize, oh, it may not let me do this. Go into file and go into down here. You can do express design, but that'd probably be the easiest. And when this screen comes up, you could do an express trace, or you could do the create express embroidery.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's where you can load your picture right there.
So it'll actually let me pull a PDF that way.
Okay, so load your picture and see what you get. Oh my.
Come lay down. Benny. Benny. Lay down. Everybody lay down. If you do this one more time, you guys are getting locked in the downstairs. Shh. I think Benny thinks his owners are coming back for him or something.
Oh.
So you're saying if I do it this way, I can actually pull a PDF into it.
I'm not sure if it'll read a PDF, but I know if you can take a screenshot of it and turn it into a JPEG, that you could do that. So there's a tag. See that right there? That was a JPEG.
Okay.
But send me the PDF and I can turn it into something for you, and then you can try that.
Okay.
All right. Is that how you're going to do your new business? You'll be busy embroidering scrubs.
That's my thought. And then my friends think that they could hook me up with some, they're like very involved in a lot of things. And they're like, they have friends who might need pillows embroidered or like bath towels and stuff for a lot of the companies they have. I don't know. I told my friend Steph, I go, baby steps. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
thought I would do that as well. And I bought a 4 needle, and I'll show you the 4 needle in a bit. Oh, it's so messy. When my grandkids were born, and I thought, well, I can embroider on little baby onesies and all that and sell them. And I realized after the first or second sales item I did that I'm too much of a perfectionist, and I have to, I spent hours on one design, and got maybe $10 for it. So,
Yeah.
so you have to just make sure that you get what you're paid for. So
That's right.
but that's basically what you would do.
Okay.
Okay, and then it would digitize it for you and go through the setup, but certainly can take a look at that. And if I can't figure it out, is it a copyright logo? Could you get the release too to do that?
I don't know that information. I didn't even really think about that. I mean, I talked to the owner of our company and I was like, if I figure out how to do this, will you let me do it? And he's like, sure. And I'm like,
Okay, all right. That works. That's all you needed. Yep, that's all you needed. And okay. All right. Just so you know. Don't be doing any Disney things. They'll come after you.
I told that to somebody that was doing Cricut stuff. She started slapping Starbucks logos all over cups and trying to sell them. And I go, you could get into some trouble with that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
there are certain companies that will go after you. And I know of someone, a local quilt store somewhere around Orlando, did a Lion King, and they digitized all the Lion King characters and had a quilt hanging up in their window, and they came after them. They took the quilt.
Oh, wow.
Yep, they took it. So just beware.
Yeah, no, I know that you can't do things like that for sure.
Yes. So, all right. So I deleted the design, but I also wanted to show you that I can take this design right here, and there is a little symbol up here in the corner, and it's probably not going to show because of the screen, but there's a little cloud up here in the corner that you can send it directly to your machine.
It's like a little cloud with a check mark.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you there's a drop down menu, and the reason I can't click on it right now is I'm sharing my screen, and there's a green, the green outline is right there. I can't figure out how to move it. Well, there is. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. All right. Okay, it shows on the screen that you're looking at, and let me see if I can do this. And next to it, there's that, and next to it, so then let's see, where's my cloud? Okay. Yeah, that's so then what I do is I tap that cloud right here, and I right click on it, and if you've named your machine, it will send it to the machine. So what I'm trying to do is get to that cloud. Let me just show you. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'll go back to the machine, and I'll do it. Now I have this on the screen, so I'm going to delete it. Otherwise I have one on top of the other. No, I'm going to leave it. I changed my mind. I'm going to leave it so I can show you how to delete within the machine. So here it is. I go up to this little cloud. I click on it. It says send to my Sonet. And it says send to my cloud, to Queen, or to my laptop. I'm going to send it to the Queen. It tells me the design was sent to the machine. And see how it sits right over that other design? That's one of the biggest problems my newbies face, because they go, how I got them both on the design on the machine. What am I going to do? And it says on the laptop that it's only one, but here it is. So go into the layers panel. And in the layers panel, it shows you that this was put in first, then this was put in second. So go to here, drag it to the left and hit the trash can. Bam. And there you are. I love that. That is so cute. I want to do so many things. I just don't have the time. But I will send this to you since it's a free design. And it has the directions on what to cut it out and all of that. And you can play around with that too. So something to challenge you. Now, I have saved this. Remember, I saved it at the beginning. So I feel comfortable in just deleting it. So I highlight it and trash can. So then if I brought that other design back in, oops, and you can close this or float it. There's my design. And let's see what hoop I'm working with. So I'm back to the 150 by 150 hoop. And I have a textured hoop, so I can put a textured hoop in there. So the other 150 by 150 texture hoop, but it shows the lines for the ribbons. But regardless, I'm going to use that so we can stitch this out. All righty.
Okay.
So I can also here, there's these double butterflies are for resize. So that's the resize symbol. And you can resize, reduce, or increase an embroidery design. But what's different between resize right here and rescale right there is this one will recalculate the stitches. The other one doesn't. It'll show it if it's rescaled, it'll show the stitches apart more. If you try to make it larger, if you try to make it smaller, it'll just make the stitches denser and closer together.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. All right. So that's basically that string. So that is all related to embroidery edit.
Okay.
So let's talk about hoops and designs. Okay. All right, let's see if they give you any. In your manual, I just went over several pages and completed the edit functions. And the resize is the difference between rescale and resize, undo, and then hoop options. So we have completed all the way up to 121.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I covered just in that section of the design. So with your machine, let me see. Oops. All right. So with your machine, you got 3 hoops.
I think I have 4.
You got 4. What was the other one you got? At the bottom, it'll tell you the size of the hoop. Right here.
Okay. Oh no, I just got 3. One was separated. Made it look like 4. Yeah, you're
Okay,
right.
I thought maybe you got an extra bonus hoop.
No, I have 3.
No. All right. So there's your hoops. So the first one is the smallest one, and it's a 120 by 120 hoop. It's approximately a 4 by 4 inch stitching area. The next one is the 260 by 200. And the biggest one, oops, I got that in upside down. It's a bad thing. Is the 360 by 260. Now, if you get serious about embroidering on garments, you're going to want to get a magnetic hoop. There are actually 4 of them now.
Magnetic.
Yeah.
And
we're having a sale, Kristen, at the store. Getting hoops off for 20%. And if you call the store today and you want to pick one up, she can order one for you. And you just have to ask, I don't know how much they are. You'll have to ask. So this one is the 100 by 100. I use these for onesies.
Oh,
the hat, there's a hat hoop too. This one is 180 by 130. It says right here, 180 by 130.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is a 240 by 150. So go ahead.
What makes the magnetic hoops better for doing clothes than the?
All right, let me show you. Okay, I have a top here. Bought this. I don't ever wear orange except at Halloween. So I bought this. And what I'm going to do is with garments, you literally turn it so that it's inside out, or turn it inside out. And then what you do is, it's a little tricky. So what you're going to do is, see if this makes sense, is I'm going to put it on the hoop like this and put the magnets down. Then what I do is I pull this down. See, like that? Now, obviously, scooch it down like this. And then I scooch it over here like this. And there's a sticky stabilizer that you can use. And see, then it holds it. And you can put this in the machine and you can embroider right here.
That does seem a lot easier than trying to put it in between the.
Yeah. So definitely, absolutely. So that's why the magnetic hoop, or the metal hoop, as they're called, and these magnets are really strong.
Yeah.
So they're holding together. But that's something to think about.
Okay.
But first, you got to digitize a design, Kristen. So.
Right. I was so naive to what it went into to try to do one of these designs. I had no idea. I don't even know anybody that embroiders. Like, I don't even have one friend or one acquaintance that embroiders. I don't know anybody that does it. So.
Oh. Well, obviously, you'd probably meet more people if you were in the store.
Yeah.
But because that's not your circle of friends, but you can recruit them. So, okay. So now these are definitely the big ones. This one is perfect for some of the Kimberbell designs. This one, actually, that I'm working on now, This hoop is too small, the 260 by 200, but it fits inside this big hoop. So when you're talking about stabilizers, you gotta have enough to fit that hoop, be able to embroider it. Okay, so that's why the hoop that you choose must fit your design. And if it doesn't, the machine, no matter what you do, the machine will not let you stitch. It'll keep beeping at you and telling you it doesn't fit in the hoop.
You're saying your stabilizer goes between these hoops, not your actual material?
That's right. So now I'm going to talk about stabilizers.
I'm learning so much.
What's that?
I said I'm learning so much because the one thing
Yes,
I did
you will. There's a ton of stuff to learn. And there are 3 different types of stabilizer. Three basic types. There's plenty more. And I'll show you where you can find that additional information. So there is a tearaway.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, a tearaway here, and you literally tear it away from your design. There's a wash away. Hey, these snap bracelets are pretty tight. There's a wash away right there. And you literally wash it, you put it in the sink and wash it away. And
Okay.
here's an example that I used to make freestanding lace hearts.
Oh.
Okay. I found this idea on Pinterest. It's a frame that I had. I picked up at Goodwill. And then I just put a little wire through them so it appears as if they're just hanging there. And all of these can be found on the Sew-Net. Oops. There you go. So. Oh my, listen to them.
I swear dogs are worse than babies sometimes. So is that like really the only time you do the wash away, when you want to have something you can see through like that?
And towels. You can put them on the back of towels too.
Huh.
And the store, we have adhesive back wash away so that it sticks to your fabric. And that sometimes works real well, like a onesie or just maybe a name on a shirt. I like to use the adhesive back wash away, but there's so much information. I'm just trying to give you the basics right now.
Yeah.
And then there's what we call no-frill mesh, or it's a lightweight cutaway.
Okay.
And so you have, and here's a neat way to display them so you can see them on your cutting area. This is from Dollar Tree, and you can put your stabilizers in them like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then these are the slap bracelets from Kimberbell. And then, see, you've got them right there for you to stack up.
Okay.
And so there's your 3.
I actually have all 3. I've got tear away. I got the wash. Oh no, I have wash away. 2 different kinds of wash aways. A water soluble stabilizer.
Does it look like this, like a plastic sheet?
The water soluble one does. It looks very, yeah.
Does it say water topping on it?
it just says the perfect stabilizer. It says a water soluble stabilizer.
Okay, all right.
I don't
Does
know,
it
but
look like a,
it looks shiny. It looks a lot different than the other one that says it's wash away.
okay. What's the brand of them? Floriani or Inspira?
Probably nothing. It's, you know, I think I got it on Amazon. It's Solvy. Solvy.
Okay, never heard of them. So,
Yeah. I mean, I can buy all new stuff. I don't need to use any of this stuff. I don't.
oh, you know what? You can use those just for your practice, like on your towels or whatever. So yeah, it's too expensive to just put aside.
Yeah. Yeah. My other brand is New Brothered, and I don't know if that has to do with the brother machines. I don't know if that's why I got it.
I don't know. All right, now let's take a minute and talk about where you can find that information on your machine. So if you go into your machine right here, and you go into the home button, let's get this situated here for you. Right here into the home screen, and you go into the help center, and you look up here in the categories. The last one is the stabilizer guide. And it lists water soluble stabilizers. Specialty is the stick on, or this Lamifix is for patches. It looks like that's all there. Fusible webbing. So rarely do we use the specialty.
Okay.
Then there's the tearaway, and see, all the tearaway have a green, and that's Inspira. So it looks, the label looks like this, and that would be if they are a Fox, Viking, or Singer dealer, and they order them. That's the brand. And see, the first one is Tearaway, Tearaway Light. So let's go into Tearaway, and it explains everything. Explains how to use it, and then the directions to use it.
Okay.
And what it will do is it will literally, when you tear it away from your, okay, I'm trying to get this here. When you tear it away and you peel it, it literally tears. See how it tears? Whereas cutaway, as you might imagine, so here's the design I'm working on right now. And cutaway, I literally have to cut it away on the back so that there isn't any stabilizer left except what's in the middle of the hoop. That's cutaway.
Okay.
That makes sense, I believe. Then wash away looks like a dryer sheet, like that, and wash away when you put it in water, or you spill your coffee on it or your water, it dissolves.
Yeah.
So I tell the ladies at the store is if you just take your finger and wet it, you can tell whether it starts to dissolve or not. You can literally feel it dissolving.
Oh, okay.
Because the cutaway looks similar. See, this is a cutaway. It looks like a dryer sheet too.
Yeah.
And so unless you have it labeled somehow, then you won't know the difference between the two. I can see it because the cutaway has like a dimpling in it. See that little pattern in it, whereas the wash away looks definitely like a dryer sheet. Has little polka dots.
Yeah.
They're not polka dots, they're little holes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So put them up here. I'm working, which is all the time. This topping is what you would use for your towels. So let me go get a towel. All right. So I buy my towels at Costco, and they're really good, nice towels.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I'll give it a go. These make great gifts. Do you have any friends that are getting married?
I do not.
You do not? Are they in the baby phase?
Yeah, I mean, yes, most of my friends have had babies or having babies. Yeah, that's the age we're at.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's married now.
Yeah. I'm at the age where other people's grandchildren and even great grandchildren are having babies. But my grandchildren, my granddaughter's 7, so that's not happening. Thank God.
Yeah.
So these are great gifts. And what I do is I buy the towels, like I said, at Costco, and this is called an embossed design. And it's digitized so that the stitches here knock down the pile. And Designed by Juju has these. I'll look for them and send you the link.
Yeah, that's
But-
cool.
But what you do is I put the adhesive back or the water soluble dryer sheet on the back. I like the adhesive back because you can't hoop a towel. You have to put it on top of the stabilizer. And I'll show you that too before we leave today.
Okay.
Okay. This, it's plastic. And what you do is you put it on top like this. And what it does is it keeps the bottom from poking out.
Yeah, that's what the one roll I have looks like. It looks very shiny and plasticky like that.
That goes on top. That's called a topping. So let me,
okay.
I got, I just got tons of samples.
It's okay.
Well, I had a fleece blanket for my granddaughter when she was a baby, and I just finished it. And I had her name on it. And so you can also buy you could do in the software too. You can make that design. But that's way, way far ahead of us. I have no idea where I put that. I got in a cleaning mood last fall, and I put stuff away, and now it's not where I thought I put it. So I gotta find it. Story of my life. Okay, no. Now let's finish up with the stabilizers. And then we're going to talk about threads real quick. So then I close this out. Sit down. Whoop. Not good. Just lost it. All right. So close that out. And then the last two are cutaway and the cutaway and cutaway light. As I said, and that if you tap on it, it opens it up and tells you how to use it. And then the batting is fusible fleece, and you can iron it back of the project you're working on to give it another layer. I do not use fusible fleece when I'm making a big wall hanging like the one I showed you on the wall.
Okay.
Okay, so then we'll close that up. Go back to the home. Now I just want to quick show you that in the blog, they have all of these different projects and talks about different topics. And when I go down here, there's the little gnomes right there. And then the blue hyperlink right here shows you which ones are free. So the first one is the applique beard, and I can just tap on that to save it, and it saves it right in my screen. But I already saved it once, so I don't want to save it again. But if I were making a folder, Kristen, I would tap this plus right here on the side, and it says enter folder names. So then I might label it gnomes, and you can do uppercase and lowercase just like on your phone. Then I long hold, and then I go back to this gnomes, and I say okay. So that put it in that gnomes category. Fill stitch beard, and I can tap that as well. And then a stripe tab. And okay. So now when I close this and I go into embroidery and I look on my cloud and I find my gnomes. Well, there's two of them. I don't know what happened to the other one. It's floating around somewhere. I must be, I didn't tap it completely. It's probably down here. Well, I know that. I did that before, so. This one's a free design. That was a Christmas design. So, whoa, that's a design I made for a jacket. And I'm going to delete that. Oh boy. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to get ready to embroider. And it recommends a light pink, a medium pink, and a dark pink. I could use those, that's no problem. But I can also use any color that I want. So if I wanted to make it in shades of red, I would just use a red spool of to thread the machine with. But if you wanted to see how it would look on your fabric, for example, this might be a light gray piece of fabric. And now I see how this design would look on that light gray. Or I can literally change the colors using the artist palette. And I can tap this light. And then once I highlight that, then this artist palette pops up. And I can change that to a bright pink and hit OK. So now it has a different pink, and I can tap off of it, tap it, and tap this closed. And now it changed the color. And I often will do that again, as I said, when I'm designing. So when I made that little flag, I put a red background. So remember, I went into the gears. And machine settings. And there, so that's the background. That's not what I want. I would go into the hoop options. And then I would change it to a red. Close this. And that's how I decided what colors to use, where to put the designs and all that. That is very advanced. You don't have to know that today. I just wanted to show you.
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm back to white because that's the fabric I'm going to use is white. And then when I'm ready to stitch out, I'm going to go to the stitch out screen. And the arm comes over for stitch out. And now it's telling me to put in the texture hoop. And I'm going to hit OK. And I need the 6D foot. And I should change the throat plate to a single hole throat plate. And there are different options, and I prefer to have the automatic thread cutter and not the jump stitch because it's pretty sloppy.
Okay.
I'm going to tap that and hit OK. All right, now let's get ready to stitch out. So if I want to embroider, I am going to use bobbin thread. And bobbin thread is a lightweight thread. This one is 50 weight. And you wind it on your bobbin. Now I purposely didn't put a lot. I'm using one to show you how the message comes up in case you get stuck. So then I just swap out the bobbin. Now, to swap out the plate, in the bottom of your accessory case, I think I showed you this at the very beginning, there's another plate in here.
Yeah.
You take the plate out. And we're going to need the screwdriver. And we're going to need the 6D foot, and that's this one.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not using the 1/4 inch foot. I pop that off. I take the plate off by putting the screwdriver right here. Let's see if I can get closer. And I pull this off. And my machine desperately needs cleaning. So I always try to change the needle and clean it. And it needs to go in for a service. It really is a mess. Because I service mine about once a year, and I probably should do it more often. But I hate to lose my machine. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this goes back in place, lining up the cutout right here with the cutout right there in the metal case. Should be lined up. So it sits in there nice and flat. And this sits in there like so. And then I put the pins right here, go in this opening right here. Now don't, then you have to push it down, put it in, and then snap it in place. like so.
And you put this plate in every time you embroider.
Yes, and the reason for that is because this small hole keeps, see, the needle goes up and down. It
Yeah.
stays in the same place. It's the arm that moves.
Yeah.
So this opening here, the larger opening, may have a little bit of play, and that little bit of play will affect your tension, and you may not have a nice looking tension. So then I put the bobbin in place, just like we practiced in the past, and then up and around and down. And the nice thing about having a white bobbin is that I can switch out the different color threads and it'll be fine. Okay, now this is 6D. You don't use the IDT at all when you're embroidering.
Okay.
There's a little, let's see. There's a little screw right back here, and you are going to put the pin, that little pin post, in the hole right there. Now, one of the things the machine will show you, which is wonderful, is if you go into the help screen right down here, and you go into the help center,
Mm-hmm.
and you go into getting started. It'll show you how to put on the 6D foot. Right here, it says attaching the 6D. But because we went into stitch out, I can't access it now. So I'd have to go back to the embroidery screen to do that. But you can do that on your own if you get stuck. Let's see. Close that. Okay. So I loosen this thumb screw right here in the back, and then I put the pin in the hole that's on the side of the ankle. And you'll see it's pretty tight. So what you want to do is you want to turn the hand wheel towards you, and it brings it down, slides in place, and then you can tighten it. That's the key. I'll send you a video on how to do it. That Sarah Snuggergood is her name, has a pretty good one on attaching the 6D foot. So I'll send that. Okay?
Okay. I mean, I think I got it in, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, it shouldn't wobble at all.
Okay. Oh. Oh yeah, I got it in. So much easier than my other machine.
Oh, I bet.
God, that was like, I felt like I was deciphering like ancient, like writing. It just really made me question my abilities. I was like, this is ridiculous.
One of the things they did between the older FOSS and the newer ones is this space right here is a full 3 inches. So you can get your hand in there, whereas before there was hardly any room to work. So yeah, that's a plus too.
I know.
So now what I like to do is I'll set up the colors. So if I'm going to use a bright pink and a light pink, and then a darker purple or darker pink, let's see, how about this one? Not, I guess this is, I don't know what that's called, but a darker, definitely dark.
Can
So
you do
that-
more than, can you hook up more than one color on this or just the one?
It is possible to sew two colors at once, yes. But if you're just sewing one color at a time, then what you do is I line these up right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in the order that I'm going to use them.
Okay.
And I can kind of turn things around too and change them like this, make up my mind. Now, there is a multi-thread rack, and it's on my icon too, so I'll show it to you. There. So it looks like this. And it goes on the back of your machine.
Oh.
So because I often will use several spools in one color,
Mm-hmm.
design, I should say, and I line them all up on the back. So that's another option too. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But it's so easy to thread this machine that I really don't have any problems changing thread colors.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to thread it like we've done in the past. No different. And right here. And because it's so easy to thread the needle, I don't mind changing colors like that. Okay. All right. So now, let me show you how to hoop. Okay. So because I need to put this in the textured hoop, I'll get out my texture hoop. Okay. And like I said, this was used originally for yarns and threads. I'll show you where I used it on my wall hanging. See that design right there? I mixed some different yarns. Actually, those are all ribbons. And I use the texture hoop for that. And then here's another one, the love. I used combined embroidery designs and ribbons. Okay. So what we're going to do now is put some tearaway stabilizer on the bottom hoop. And what you have to do is you have to release this lever and loosen the screw a little bit. Set it down on a flat surface. And put the stabilizer slightly larger than the outside of the hoop. All right, and now I need to find my scissors. I have paper scissors when I do this, so I don't ruin my good scissors. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just cut across here.
I had to yell at my husband at Christmas because he took my sewing scissors and was cutting wrapping paper with them.
Oh,
I was like, we need to have a conversation about what scissors you're allowed to use up here.
my sons used to do that all the time, and they learned rather quickly not to do that.
They just don't get it.
All right, so now I lay this on top of that bottom hoop. I make sure that the numbers, let's see, there they are, right? Are facing me and I can read them correctly. And the top of the hoop, let's see, I can read the word "pop" correctly.
Okay.
Then I put it in the hoop on top. And if I've loosened it enough, it should slide in place and I push the 4 corners. If not, loosen it some more with your screw so that it sits in there. It has to sit in there flat so that there's no ledge here sticking out. Then you close this lever to tighten it, or you loosen the thumb screw some more until the lever closes without breaking it. Don't break it. And don't unscrew the screw all the way, because there's a little tiny spring in there and a little tiny screw that you can lose easily. And I have.
Okay.
It is possible to embroider rather, without putting the screw tight against the hoop. But I try to do that so that I can get that. What that does is it tightens it in the hoop, tightens the stabilizer in the hoop.
Okay.
Now I'm going to cut a piece of fabric a little bit larger than my hoop. Or if you were doing a towel, let me show you what you do with a towel. So with a towel, what you would do is you would fold it the lengthwise. So it looks like this. And then you would fold it in half. So it looks like this. And then from here to here, you would measure up approximately 5 inches right here. And then mark it. I'm just going to put a pin in here. And what that is now the center of your hoop. Okay?
Okay.
So then I have my piece of fabric. All right. And a lot of times what I do with this white fabric is I'll put a fusible backing on it. It's called Pelon Shape Flex. And it prevents bleed through and also gives another layer of stabilizer. So what does it look like? Let's see if I can find something. Hang on. I got something from the class I taught yesterday. Okay. So these triangles, and I know it's hard to see, but these triangles, see where I pressed it on?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little shorter here. And then this is the batting part of the design. And then I'm working on the Kimberbell cuties. And I made the gnome for the March topper. And here he is. He's so cute.
It's cute.
So, and then you cut it down. So that's, see, that helps between the stabilizer and the batting. You're not going to have any bleed through. And what I mean by that is if I choose a black, which I did, I chose a black backing. It's a gnome black backing. It's possible that it could bleed through if you didn't have it backed. And you'd see this black area on your underneath your design. Okay, that's what bleed through means. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of fabric. And we are going to float this design. So it is possible to hoop up your whole piece of fabric, but more often I float the design. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to insert my hoop right here, slide it in. Let me show you. And don't push this arm right here. Don't push the bottom. Don't push that to the back. Rest your hand on it and push the hoop back. There. And now it snaps into place.
Okay.
There are markings on your hoop that show you the middle of the hoops. So there is the vertical middle, right? There's the mark. And then here's the horizontal middle from there to there. So there's a better picture of it. You can see those marks. So what I usually do is I just fold this in half. And I fold it in half from top to bottom. So I fold it in half, just like I did that towel. So I fold it in half like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I fold it in half again from top to bottom. So now I have 4/4 on this fabric. And I crease it with my fingertips. Okay, then I lay it down on my hoop and I use those folds on the fabric right here. See that fold? And I line that up as best as I can with the vertical. And the best that I can with the horizontal. I smooth it out like so. So it's nice and flat. All righty.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to go over here. There's my mess. My messy mess. And Now that I'm ready to sew, there's a couple of features in here that will help us. If you go into this color palette, tap that, you'll see that the first color is 1 of 1. The second color is 1:2. And the third color right there is 1:3. So we're going to go back up to 1 because that obviously is the first one we're going to stitch. Go across the top bar. This first icon here is to baste it together. And that is to baste the fabric to the stabilizer. This right here is what we call ghost mode. When the little butterfly body shows, you're going to see just the stitching of the first color. If I tap it off, now I have the other colors so I can see them, but I always work in ghost mode. And that black plus is where the needle is entering. Color block sort, color block merge, and monochrome are used mainly for lettering. And the next lesson we would do is lettering. So we have one more lesson. And now I'm good to go. So I'm going to tap the basting, and you can baste around the design or around the hoop. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to baste around the hoop. And what this will show you is the entire embroidery field of this hoop. And we'll talk about that. So now I have everything smooth and ready to go. I grab my thread. I push this button right here is the start button. And I start stitching a wee bit. And the machine will stop. And what I do is I snip it, that extra thread, and now I continue on, and it will baste this whole piece of fabric right to that stabilizer. And this is what you would do if you're embroidering lettering too. And that is your embroidery field. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back again, and this time we're going to baste around the design, and we'll see the difference. I'm going to baste around the design, tap OK. And I'm not changing any thread color. This happens to be the first color that I'm going to stitch with. So that's okay. Now it'll do the same thing and baste around just the area of the design. And this is what we do more often than not. Only a few times that we based around the hoop.
Okay. So you don't need to do both.
No, you don't need to do both. The only reason I'm doing this is because so you can see the difference. There's a space right up here. Let me do something. There's a space right up here. And that's to allow for the IDT and this larger part of the foot. Otherwise, if you go too far, you'll break the machine, actually. All right, so now we're done basting, and we are going to start stitching the design. So there we are. I want to show you this positioning, this hoop position. There's a couple of screens you'll see. Here's the stitch out progress. The outer ring is the whole design. The inner ring is each individual color. Right down here, the first color is going to take 6 minutes. This is the first stitch out of the total, which is 4,017. This is the first swirl, and that has a total of 1,339 stitches. This is the tension, and we can adjust that. That's the active stitch technology. And then we can always go back and forward in stitches if the thread breaks or something happens. Okay, so now, then if I want to bring the hoop out, and I use this a lot for machine applique, I tap this, the hoop comes out, and then I can easily cut because the hoop is all the way out. And what would I cut? For example, when I did the birds here on this design, I put a piece of this faux leather down, and then I cut around it by pulling that hoop forward, and then I went back to resume the embroidery. Okay? All right, so now we're ready to stitch. So now it'll go back to the beginning and it'll stitch a few stitches. I'll cut the thread. Oh my. Now it'll stitch that first swirl. And I wouldn't go far. I would definitely stay close to the machine, because one time I turned around, and when I turned back around, it made a mess of my embroidery. I didn't leave the room. And it made a mess. So So now let's take a look at the stitch out progress. And you can see that it's half done. So another 2 minutes. Really does a nice job embroidering too. And it cuts it. And it jumps to the next color. Now, when it jumps to the next color, it'll tell you the color that it recommends. That doesn't mean anything. You can use whatever thread you want, whatever color you want. That is just what they suggest. And you close that up and then rethread the machine with whatever color you're using. And as I said, it only takes.
You have lost your are you talking or I haven't been able to hear you if you have been.
Oh, hang on. No, can you hear me?
I can't hear you for some reason.
I don't know why. Hopefully it's on the recording. But what you're going to do, that doesn't do any good at all. Wonder if the
Recording in progress.
Yeah, I don't want to do. Whoops. I lost you. I still can't hear me, huh? How about now? No. All right. Hmm.